Right, what have we got here? Yes, this is Holybro's new 650 class copter. So I'm going to do a time-lapse build of this in a single video, but just a little bit of commentary while I unpack things. Just so you get a flavour of what's in the box. So, got the base plates here, and these are nice. These are nice, thick carbon. So those are 2mm carbon, I would guess, which is actually reasonably solid. Remember, I looked at another one that was not quite so solid, but yeah, pretty solid. And then got some props here. These are 18-inch, and they look like carbon fibre props, which is pretty cool. Don't know where you get the new ones, but carbon fibre props. Alright, and then some instructions, and then the guts are these, the motor arms, and these very nice M2s, they're all good. Got these very nice T-motor MN, I think they're 4114 anti-gravity motors. They are can't quite read that, 330 kV maybe. So decent motors, decent lift, should be relatively efficient. Nice aluminium LEDs on the end and carbon fibre poles. So I'm going to pull all of those out so I can start assembling. So, in typical Holybro style, they provide all the components you need, including the tools. And yeah, I've got some tools here. Nice to have some copies of those. A distribution board, various other bits and pieces. So, I'm gonna put away the pieces I don't need now, and start with, well, this is the ready to fly one, so I don't need to put together the motors here. I can go straight to step 2, and it looks similar to their 500 V2 in the way it's constructed. So interestingly, it looks like, so it's designed to fold up, which is nice. It takes less space in my office, and it's designed so that these parts of the arms come off, I think. Ah, okay. And they tip like that. So that's really very cool. All right. So first step are these slide bars and these hangers. Which you have to put the rubber grommets in like that. I'll do the rest. Alright, 8 hangers. So, got this top plate here. And that fits 4 of the hangers. This is very similar to the X500. Basically, something like that. Similarly here. Good. And then I need these countersunk screws to screw these in. Alright. Crucially, these need to be the M2 screws, not the M3 screws, so there's 2 sets of countersunk. So I don't need the M3 right now. I do need the M2. M2.5 times 6 mil. Right. Alright, that's those done. And the next part is the top plate, sorry, the bottom plate. Looks like it goes like that. Not quite sure how far along this has got to be. Maybe a bit more in the centre. Further. Good. And then top, it looks like it's going to be power distribution board, I would think. That goes in the middle there. And then what it really, probably is, and then there's some sort of current sensor, which is this one. Power supply, it's not a current sensor. Alright, so actually probably the flight control I'm going to use is this monster, which is their new Jetson baseboard with a Pixhawk 6X. And what I might do is put the Pixhawk 6X Pro on here just to be totally outrageous. I think that would be outrageous, but why not? I might fix that on. So interestingly, this guy comes with this enormous U-back here, which is then used here to power Jetson. You can see on there. And then we've also got some extra power here. Quite sure that way around maybe. And it comes with this power supply, which, unlike this one, very similar. Does have a current sensor. I'm not quite sure what. See that? Guess that's a beck of some description. This has got the standard Pixhawk power connector on here, so what I'll do is use that one in there, and then I've got my battery lead and my power supply. And then somehow my back's going to have to go somewhere there, and then the Jetson on top. So, and like I did before, I'm going to have to figure out which way round the batteries are going to go, because I got it the wrong way round last time. But I definitely do want this guy. So batteries, I think this is the battery pole, as it were, or pad. So I think the batteries are designed to hang underneath. Yeah, battery mounting board, battery pad. So they're going to be slung underneath, and so this guy will probably underneath there. So probably what I want is for this to come through here. And then this can go here. It goes down to the batteries somewhere. It's all XT60 rather than 90. I don't know how much current it takes. It seems a little bit undercooked, but there we go. What I'll probably do is put some split XT 60 to 90 converters here. Probably work quite well. Do it that way. Alright, so I might put the screws in there. So apparently there's a thing called an XT60 holder that fits in this slot here, but I don't seem to have anything that looks like that, so I'm just going to go with the power module poking through, I think. Can't see anything in the box that looks like that, so maybe it's an optional accessory that I don't have. Such is life. Alright, well, I'll keep going it without it, I think. So I've got to mount this on these little plastic pillars here. I'll unstand off. And therefore, power distribution board. According to the diagram, it clearly wants it that way up, so I might not tempt fate and invert it. And then I need to attach the motor mounts. Using these M3 by socket cap screws, M3 by 8, which are 3 by 14. Socket cap M3 8. Right, so it's those ones. And I need to make sure I get the motors in the right order, so I'm going to check on that. Alright, this is going to be the back, and I'm going to put 1, 3, 2, 4. So I'm going to make sure I get those right. Alright, that's 4 motors on, nice. Hopefully in the right order. Just raise this up a bit so you can see a little bit better. Alright. And then I need this mount underneath at the back here. And then I've got to put on these the battery cage as well. So I'll do that. So these ones are actually 2.5 times 6 socket cap screws, so slightly smaller. Alright, and then finally the battery plate on these long aluminium standoffs. And then there are a couple of battery pads that are supposed to mount in the middle here, I think. Looks good to me. Alright, and that bit is done. So next up is to put on the landing gear and the top plate, and then I think that will be mostly done. I've obviously got to mount a flight controller, but yeah, that will be mostly done, which is nice. Right, time to put the top plate on. So top plate back, it goes like that. Oh no, I'm going to do the undercarriage first. So we'll mount these guys. These get mounted. Must be the end of it, right? These ones here, so these are mounted under there. You can see that mounted under there. They're supported by these aluminium standoffs there. So and they're M3 by 8. Everything is M3 by 8. Which is a nice big bag of. So that's M3 by 8. Taking the biggest Allen key. Yeah, alright. So put that one in there. So the X650 has got a very similar landing gear. I seem to remember I broke it. When I did it last time. It's not really going in. Okay, here we go. What's going on there? Doesn't seem to be very well threaded. This one instead. There we go. Yeah, so I think I broke it last time because the mounts are plastic and it's not very strong plastic. There's that guy. That guy. All right. I don't know if you can see these, the screw holes are at an angle. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Oh no, they're not at an angle, they just look like they're at an angle. Interesting. Alright. So, bit of well in, it should go in, I think. Alright, that one's done. It was a little bit of an effort, but hopefully the other side will be a little bit easier. Alright, and then just the landing gear on. I think these are plastic, so I have to be a little bit more careful here, but should be okay. Alright, that's one. Now the other. Alright, there we go. So I'm going to have to raise the camera up even further because it's got quite tall now. That's, I think that's in frame. I think that's in frame. So next option, so that works. Next job is to put the top plate on. With the flight controller, and I need a back to power it, and I think what I've found is I think these mounting holes will take the back, so I think hopefully if I mount the back here that will just fit. So hopefully that's good. First of all I need to wire up the power for the motors. So doesn't matter which order. I'll just twist the leads just to try and avoid interference. place. And then I'll mount the back on here. I think that will just about go there. So some nuts or something. I think it'll probably require some of my own components to secure it. Alright, Pixhawk Pro, 6X Pro. So this is a regular 6X. I'll take this off. There's the regular 6X. You can see they're similar but very different heights. So pop the Pro on here, which sits just about the same height, so that's nice. Screw this back in. Alright, that's on. Interesting. Well, it goes on one way. So this then sits on its little feet on there. So I think I can just pop some screws in the bottom there. Steal some more of my M3 socket cap here. It seems like it might be too long. I don't know how long these are. Slightly too long. So I'll need some shorter ones, like 5mm or something for the standoffs. Let's go and find some. It seemed to be in any in the kit, so I'll go and find some. Alright, I've found some 5mm M3, which should, 5 or 6mm, can't tell quite which, but should be fine. I'm just giving those outer holes there. Good. On there. I'm sure if you can see this. One there. Alright, that looks good. Looks like it fits. I think this will stretch around there just about. I should have put it on the other side. I think I might do that because it's just going to be a bit too much of a stretch otherwise. Alright, that's on the other side. That should now come up through there. I think it does. There, that's quite nice. good. Let's power off there. And then of course we need a power supply to feed the other way. So hopefully it's a little bit. There we go. Power supply underneath. Got a bag of tricks here. Well, this is the problem I had last time, wasn't it? Is there a power lead long enough? Because last time there wasn't. This time I'm not sure there is really either. So this is for the flight controller. Power supply. Pops down there. Pops down there. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. Seems a bit of a squeeze. Don't really want to have to put this all the way around again. This was the problem I had last time. Getting a power supply that was, it fits. Fits, but I mean, I think it's okay. And what I'll probably do is tape that up, and then I'm gonna have to have a battery splitter anyway, so I can do a split from a XT60 to XT90. I think that's what I did on the other one. So I'll do a battery splitter. I think that'll do for now. Don't really want to redo all of that. And then of course the I/O ports. Run off here. So these are the I/O ports here. Probably what I want to do is mount those underneath somehow. Look, that works. So I would think I'm going to need to mount those underneath. One of these long ones like that. Yeah. So I would have thought the thing to do is to pop that through. I can figure out which is which. And then mount that underneath. Probably do the other one as well. So somehow loosen those off for now so that I can mount these underneath, and hopefully these just take take M3, so I'll just find some M3 to pop down on those and I can mount those underneath. I think that'd be good. So getting a little bit involved now. Right, so I take these they've done lots of nice little pins here. So I think those will fit underneath, just about like that. I think there's just about enough room. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's okay. So I'll find some longer M3 to keep those in. Right, I don't have any of the right length. I've got some longer ones, and I'm going to use my trusty bolt cutter, M3 bolt cutter, which is one of these. Trusty bolt cutter to cut these down. Right, let's keep going. So I've attached these two PWM input breakout things to there and wrap the cables around. There's the power lead. It's just a little bit. It's a little bit tight because I've got power lead one end. Needs to be this end. So I think that's why on previous ones I've moved this round the other way. And I probably could still do that. I mean, it's fairly easy change. Just take those screws off. I might do that so that then the power adapter, which you can't really see, which is here, is a little bit closer to the source. That also means that the compass, which I'll probably mount here on the back, is a little bit further away from the leads. So I think I might do that. Right, better. That's much closer, not too tight. Alright, so now I'm going to put the LEDs on the FMU outputs, because the LEDs can't run on the main outputs. LEDs on the FMU outputs, and the motors on the main outputs, because this is a Pixhawk 6X, so it supports BD short on the main motors. So I'll just make sure I get these the right way around. Can't actually read that. Let's have a look. Okay. So the right one is FMU, which is that guy. So FMU is this one here. And so I just plug the LEDs right in. Yeah. There's only one way around they can go. Oops, that's a motor. No, it can't be a motor. Okay, it just says motor. So the motor labels are on the LEDs, which is a bit silly, really. So, right, so that's. Doesn't matter what order these are in. I'll just check though that signal is. Yeah, I'll have to adjust it. I've got some others of these, so I just have to check which way round is signal and which is ground. Alright, quite difficult to actually find the pinout because it's not marked on this, as far as I can tell. It's not marked on the docks, but I have discovered that the signal is the top. The ground is on the bottom, so I had it the wrong way around. So plug all of those LEDs in. Okay, that's 1 to 4 plugged in, all on the top. One of the interesting things is, I guess these are getting 5 volts from the rail here, but I don't think this is generally, well, I don't know. I haven't seen how this is rated. This is usually, certainly with a regular server rail, for LEDs you generally want to provide your own supply, and maybe that's supposed to come from this back. I don't know. Good question. Maybe I'm supposed to plug one of these in, in which case it's a little bit far away, won't stretch there, unfortunately. I'll have to have a look at the docks. So that's in there, and then we've got the motors in the other one. So M1 is that's M1, front left, front right. So signal on the top, motor 1 there. Oops. Motor 1, motor 2 back left, motor 3 front left, motor 4 back right. So that's all good. Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder whether this is designed for the LEDs. Might well be. Might have to consult that. Well, what we can do is plug it in and see what supply we get. So these may well be wired up, so difficult to know. So and then that's the motors, and then this is the front this way. I'll probably put some a little zip tie to keep those all tight. So the bag plugs into there, and this plugs into here. And then the power for the U plugs into there. Oh, except I want it to come up through the bottom there. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is have a little read of the instructions just to check these power supplies are right. And what I guess I can power it off the. I'll have a look. I'll have a read of the instructions. Check these are right. Check the power is right, and then what I might do is just configure it for the motors and the LEDs, just to check that's all working properly before I start painting it down. So I might try that now. Alright, all looks good. That wiring is correct. The only thing I need to change is that the U-back what the doc says, the UBAC needs to be set to 7.2 volts if powering a Jetson. So I need to change the little jumpers in here because I think they default to 6 volts with a tiny little screwdriver, which I should have somewhere. So it says first jumper on, second jumper off. There we go. For 7.2 volts, and it doesn't look like the I don't know what that is for. I'll have to read up on the docs of what the... Anyway, so that is correct. So I think I can plug a cable in and... Oh, okay, so that comes on the side. So I might just plug the motor into the side so that I can put the UBAC on the end there. I'll plug that one in there. Plug the UBAC in that one. Which looks good. Right. And let's plug a USB connector in. A long USB connector that doesn't reach. Reach there, doesn't reach up here, unfortunately. Probably can shuffle that over a bit. Oh. Oops. Shuffle that over a bit, and oh, there's the USB. All right, got power on that. So I'm gonna update that to 456, and the motors should be set up correctly. Well, I'll switch cameras just so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so got mission planner connected. It's on COM79. And let's have a look at, okay, so we've got 460 dev on here. Probably I was testing something, so I'm not going to bother with that. Let's install 456. Got, oh, hang on, no, beta firmware, so I want beta, 456 beta, here we go. Yeah, 456 beta. And I'm going to install the BD Shot version just in case. I probably don't need it, but I'm going to install the BD Shot version. Okay. Unplug the board, press OK, plug back in again. Let's see if I can do that. Scanning COM ports, scanning COM ports. Guessing this is going to fail. Right, so I'm going to try a different way, which is I'm going to click on this force bootloader, which connects via Mavlink and then forces the board into the bootloader. And then I'm going to try this again. Yes. Pixhawk 6X BD shot, upload. Reading the hex file. Look on it's come out of there. I can see on the COM ports it's come out of the bootloader. This is the annoying thing about the PX4 bootloader. It's crap basically. So as soon as I got well, okay, so there is a way around this, and the way around that is to flash the RGPilot bootloader, which fortunately I can do. So let's connect, because it's already got RGPilot on it. Let's connect. And then we go to install firmware. It says bootloader update. Okay, so I'm going to update the bootloader. It's asking me click yes a couple of times, and it says I've upgraded the bootloader. Great. So let us try installing the beta option again. I do want to upload the beta version, and I want the Pixhawk 6X BD shot version. Is it any happier? Like that. I can't remember whether the Pixhawk 6X Pro HWDEF was merged. Okay, so that worked. Okay, so with the RGPilot bootloader installed, all is good. What I'll probably do is reinstall the 4, 5, 6 bootloader. But I'm just a bit worried. There was some, because there were some changes to the HWDEF for the Pixhawk 6X Pro, and I don't know whether they made their way into 4, 5. I'm hoping they did. You'd feel like they did, but who knows? We'll know soon enough, because it'll stop. It won't boot properly. Okay, programming. Upload done. And if I look at the flashing, you can't really see, you can see the flashing light, so it means the IMCU is uploading. Alright, so let's see what happens. We connect. Data, messages. Looks okay. Yep, looks okay. So I think we must have resolved those things. If we look in HWID, we see all of the IMUs there. Okay, so that's cool. So I will just flash the stable version of the bootloader. Done. All right. Okay, so we've got 4, 5, 6 beta 1 on there. So let's just quickly check that the frame type is set. It is. I do need to do an initial calibration, but I don't really care about that for now. And then just quickly check the servos. Okay, servos. Motor 1 to 4 on output, main outputs 1 to 4, and then I've got the LEDs on 9 through 12. So NeoPixel 1, and actually they're all on the same. I can just set these all to NeoPixel 1. There's no need for having separate channels. I just want them all to display the same, the same output. And actually these could be daisy chained together and only one port used, but that doesn't look like that's an option here with the way the wiring works. Okay, so NeoPixel 1, 9 through 12, perfect. And then I'm going to be using D-Shot. So these are D-Shot capable ESCs, and I have D-Shot capable firmware. So I'm going to turn on board IO D-Shot, which enables D-Shot in the IMCU. And then I'm going to enable MOT PWM type. I'm going to go for D-Shot 600. I mean, slightly longer cables, maybe that's not a good, difficult to know. Slightly longer cables going past a bunch of interference. I'll start with D-Shot 600, we'll see how that turns out, but D-Shot 300 might be a better bet given the length of the cable runs and the interference, possibly. And then just quickly set up BL Heli. So yeah, so I'm going to go for BD shot on channels 1 to 4. Should work fine, that's supported. I happen to know the number of poles is 24 on this motor, so I'm just going to set that. And then I think that is done. Yeah. And then I am going to set the ESC type, D-Shot ESC. I don't think these have EDT, so I'm going to set these to 1. BL Heli 32. I think EDT was a 32.10 option, so unless I flash AM32 on, I'm stuck like that. And then D-Shot rate, I'm going to go for 400 Hertz. Depends whether I want to push faster. So the D-Shot rate allows you to synchronize. That's okay. Synchronize with the PWM output. So I might set this to 3. So that's 3 times 400 Hertz, which gives you 1.2 kilohertz, which is decent, you know, sort of around the 1 kilohertz mark. It's not going to stress anything, but it does mean you'll get sort of much more even output, which sometimes matters, not often, but sometimes. All right, so I think that is all I need, apart from a reboot. So let's reboot, see if we get any LEDs. Oh no, hang on. NTF LED. So we've got NTF LED. So 1 is correct. Types. Does this include NeoPixel? It does not. So I'm going to set the types to include NeoPixel. Alright, so I set the types. Includes NeoPixel. Let's reboot. Let's see whether we get anything flashing. Okay, it's upgrading the IMCU firmware again. Go. And that's because I set board I/O D-shot, so that's why. So, yeah, well, hardware safety switch. So I'm also going to turn off the hardware safety switch. Safety default, because I'm not going to have a safety, well, I probably will have a safety switch, but I'm just going to set this off. Because it's certainly for motors, we don't send any D-shot signals with the hardware safety switch pressed. I can't remember whether that's true for the LEDs. And that doesn't look like it's working. So I'm going to have to dig in as to why the LEDs are not working, because they should do. Yeah, all right. A little bit of investigation required. All right, so just tried the motors, they're all fine. So the problem with the LEDs, pretty sure, is no power. So the servo rail is not powered, which I guess you'd expect. Unfortunately, the max rating for NeoPixels is 5.3 volts, I want to say. So I can't use the 7.2 volts coming off the back. So I'm going to be a little bit sneaky and cheeky, and I've sort of got one of these 6-way JST-GH connectors, which I've just taken off another cable. And what I'm going to do is take the power off telemetry 1, which is rated at 1.5 amps, and plug the FMU cable, power cable, into that. And so my hope is that will then power those. And I think, according to the docs, telemetry 1 is connected to the Jetson UART1 anyway, so I think the port is not that useful, but the power is obviously to me. So I think I'm going to take the power. Let's see what happens. So we switch cameras at this point. Right, so I just need a little pin, and I'm going to take the FMU channel, which is this. I think I'll unpower it first. I think it's quite warm. I'm going to take the FMU channel. You see that power lead on the right. So with my old man goggles, I'm just going to lever up the power. The little thing on the back there, leave that up gently so don't break it. Pull the cable out, that's good. Pop that back in here. And then I'm going to plug that into the rightmost one, which I'm pretty sure is power. Getting it the right way up. Plug that into telemetry 1, which is this one apparently. And then if I plug the USB back in with any luck, oh, and there we go. Look at that. Flashing LEDs. How nice. So, my my ruse was correct. So it's a bit of a hack, but it said there's nothing else. There's no other. The other option is to just find a separate back, but that just feels like overkill. So they didn't mention that in the Holybro docs, so they probably should. The Holybro docs did have these set to NeoPixel 1 to 4. Pretty sure that's incorrect. I will just try that now. Set them to all to 1 and see whether that works. There we go, that's all set to 1 and they're still flashing, so it's all good. Now, interestingly, the spec for NeoPixel says that the signaling level needs to be a percentage of the input voltage level. So I think it's something like 0.7 of the input voltage for high, 0.3 for low, or something like that. And if you do the maths, the input for 5.2 volts, which is what these are typically is, 0.7 of that is right on the borderline, because the signaling is 3 volts for these outputs. So so technically you really need, I think it's a pull-up you need in particular for these lines to properly drive the NeoPixel. But it seems on some boards this works fine, other boards it doesn't. So cubes, for instance, you definitely need to have the right setup. On Pixhawk 6X it seems to cope, even though this is effectively out of spec. Anyway, I got flashing NeoPixel, so that's perfect. So that means I can wrap this up and continue with the build. So I'll find a little zip tie and keep going. Alright, that all looks good. So before I fix this down, I'm just going to fix these aluminium poles, which require screwing up from the bottom. And I'm not quite sure whether those are sunk screws or not. So this is the plate, so it's sunk screws on top, and then underneath it must be these holes, I think, at the corners. These holes here are not sunk. I think they're just socket cap. M38 screw, M38, 4 pieces. I think that's all it is. I'm not sure I've I've got any more M38. I think all of the remaining ones are socket cap, so I'll probably just go with socket cap. I can't see another bag of screws that came with this in the mess. I assume there aren't any. Okay, fine, I'll just use these ones. Alright, done those 4 poles. That sits on top, very nice. So I'm just going to use socket cap to screw down the top plate. Alright, that's all those done. And then I guess I might as well. I mean, I'm going to have to plug some other things in. So a lid might be annoying, but I'll stick it on for now, just so it looks nice. Alright, there, done. That's cute. So I made a rookie error. I haven't calibrated the accels on the Pixhawk 6X Pro with it off board. So now I'm going to have to do it inside the copter, which is a bit more of a pain. I mean, it's doable, but yeah, just a little bit frustrating. So but I can do that. So I've got everything apart from an RX and a GPS and compass. So I will find something for the GPS and compass. I might even flip this upside down. I'm not quite sure why it's this way up. But Holybro sent me a nice F9P, so I might stick that on. Alright, I think I'll probably use this enormous F9P rover that Holybro sent me. I think that'd be quite nice. Just fits on the back there with a bunch of screws. I think this will fit there. Yeah, that's all good. Very nice. So I'm just sticking that on. Cool, it's got a little mount there. This screws through there. Yep. Carbon fiber pole, which is cool. And then the base, that's the base. It's got some screws that go through the base plate. I think should just fit nicely, really. Like that. Yeah, I don't know. I think I might flip that over. How high is this going to be? I guess I could mount it up on top here, couldn't I? I don't know. I don't necessarily need to mount it at the back there. Well, I'm not sure how much difference it makes. It probably makes a bit of difference, but it's, I think that's fine. one. So this needs to plug in GPS 1, which is, can I see? Let's consult the docs. GPS 1 is that one in the middle, at the back there. Looks a bit on the short side. No, it fits. That's GPS 1. This needs to go that way around. I mean, maybe I'll feed it up and through just to avoid the cable runs. That one up there. There we go. Oh, not quite. Down through here and up. Screw in the side just to hold it in. Make sure that's oriented correctly. Looks good. Very nice. Okay. GPS. Presumably if we get power we'll get some beeping now. Can't reach the power. Need an extender, so I'll leave that for now. So all that's left to fly this is a receiver. So I'm going to have to dig out one of my... I used ELRS on this, on the other one. I prefer to use Crossfire, I have to say, on something this size. So I'll see whether I've got a spare Crossfire receiver. Seems I have spare tracer, but no spare crossfire. Have to tap Trappy up for some more. But tracer's fine. Tracer's my go-to RX, and the range is good. I can't see that I'm going to fly this over massive range, so I think using tracer would be fine. So I'll need to wire that up to, or solder that up to a connector, and then I'm ready to start tuning and flying. Very nice.